When the war started in 1939, fighter aircrafts are used by both Allied and Axis powers to maintain air superiority and inflict more casualties. So this is the top 10 fighter aircrafts of World War II. Fiat G5 Centauro, also known as Aero, is a World War II Italian fighter aircraft. This is the first single-seat all-metal monoplane and enclosed cockpit and retractable gear. Entered service in 1938 until 1946. Soviet Kalev Yak3 is a Russian single-engine, single-seat fighter aircraft. It was one of the smallest and lightest fighter aircraft. Entered service June 1944 and served the Soviet Air Forces until 1952. And some other Balkan countries also use this aircraft. Mitsubishi A6M Zero is a long-range fighter aircraft operated by the Imperial Japanese Navy. Entered service July 1, 1940 as a carrier-based aircraft and retired in 1945. In the early years of war, the Mitsubishi A6M Zero can easily shoot down any aircraft that is present in the Pacific. But when the Americans introduce more aircrafts in the service like the P38, A6M Zeros was an easy target. Messerschmitt Bf-109 is a German fighter aircraft and one of the backbone of Luftwaffe during the World War II. The Messerschmitt Bf-109 first saw in 1937 during the Spanish Civil War until the dawn of the jet age at the end of war. Also used by the Romanian and Hungarian Air Force. Messerschmitt Me-262. Nicknamed the Swallow by the Germans, this was the first operational jet-powered fighter aircraft. But problem in engine, cooling system, metal parts, landings and takeoff was the major problem of this aircraft. Entered service April 1944 until 1945 under the Luftwaffe. Also used by the Czechoslovak Air Force and finally retire in 1951. Corsair F4U. The Fiat F4U Corsair is an American fighter aircraft that saw service primarily in World War II and the Korean War. The Corsair F4U have the distinctive inverted gull wings. Entered service 28th of December until 1953, also used by the Honduran Air Force and finally retire in 1979. Supermarine Spitfire was a British single-seat fighter that was used by the Royal Air Force and other Allied countries before and after the war. This aircraft entered service 4th of August 1938 until 1949, but in the Irish Air Corps this plane used until 1961. North American P51 Mustang was an American long-range, single-seat fighter aircraft, and also a bomber escort. This aircraft entered service January of 1942 until 1984. This aircraft is used during the Second World War, Korean War and some other conflicts. The P51 Mustang also saw serve in the RAF, Royal Canadian Air Force and New Zealand Air Force. Lockheed P38 Lightning is an American piston-engine fighter aircraft. The P-38 had distinctive twin booms and a central nacelle containing the cockpit and the armament. The Japanese dubbed the P-38, 2 planes 1 pilot. This aircraft entered service on July of 1941 until 1949. The P-38 was still used by the Honduran Air Force until the end of 1965. Focke-Wulf FW-190D9 was a German single-seat, single-engine aircraft, entered service 1st of June 1939, retired under the Luftwaffe 9th of May 1945. After the war, FW-190 is still used by the Turkish and Hungarian Air Force until the end of 1949.